us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Well, good morning. How you doing? It is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Welcome to episode 355 of the Thinking Theologian. Glad you're with us here today as we continue our journey through the scriptures. So today we read Psalms 36 to 39. The title of today is Patiently Wait for the Lord to Help You Prosper. The focal scripture is in Psalm 37:7, and this is what it says. It says, be silent before the Lord and wait expectantly for him. Do not be agitated by one who prospers in his way, by the person who carries out evil plans. So wanting to be prosperous and successful is a desire for most people, especially for men. I can't speak how a woman feels, but I know for men, there's a desire to be successful, to succeed at something they do, to be good at what they do, not just kind of make it through the motions. They have a longing to provide and become someone or do something important. I know there are exceptions to this rule, but most men I know don't want to settle for average or the status quo. It becomes even more frustrating when you try to do everything right and success doesn't come. Then you look over and see people who are having much success and are doing it the wrong way or with bad motives. And so it gets really frustrating when you're doing things biblically in the right way and you're going, why am I not seeing the success that this other person has who is cheating, who is not doing right, who acts one way publicly, another way privately, whatever it may be. Maybe they're stealing things, like just whatever it is, and you're doing things right and you're not seeing the prospering that you want. And this other person has everything they seem to want and everything you seem to have for success or anything like that. It becomes very frustrating. And so in our focal verse today, we see advice from David that is very difficult. That advice is to be patient and silently wait for the Lord. Go back and read what that verse says. It says, be silent before the Lord and wait expectantly for him. Be silent before the Lord and wait expectantly for him. And so a lot of us have issues with that. I know I have issues with that. And so the advice again is to be patient, wait silently for the Lord, not to complain, but to trust and wait for God to move in your life. Then David gives more great advice. As you look out into the world around you, don't get upset when the evil prosper through evil ways. David knows what it means to be patient. He waited a long time to be king after he was anointed king, but he had to wait for God to be there and for God's timing to take place. He understands what it is to watch the evil get their way, to people to do things, to come after him and to get their way and to seem like they're having success. He sees it and he knows it and he understands it. He is speaking from experience, not just words on a page. And so the challenge that we have as believers is to patiently wait for our time to prosper. Now, I need to be careful here and make sure you understand it's not about being rich or powerful. Prospering in the Lord comes in many different ways. However, I do believe that God will honor our faithfulness. I believe that he will give us our needs in abundance. Even if we don't see the success we want in this life, we will prosper in eternity. And so what I mean by that, there are some people that teach that you pray for or you throw enough money at or you tithe enough money or whatever it is, God will honor you and God will give you whatever you want. You're praying for $1 million home, God will give it to you. You're praying for this house or suit or whatever it is, God will give it to you no matter what. And we know that that's not the biblical way, because you can be right in the middle of God's will, just like Job was. We finished reading Job, and things were taken from him, and he had less, not more. Now, in the end, we know God blessed him later. That was because of his faithfulness to God. And so we need to see and understand that we need to be faithful and do what God's asked us to do, even if we don't see God moving. We need to be silent and we need to be patient and don't worry about what others do. We can't do the comparing game of why God allows certain people to be blessed even when they're doing wrong, and why we may not be seeing the blessings we want in our life, because we do know that we will be blessed at some point. It may be on this earth or it may be in eternity. But what we can know for a promise is that God will meet our needs when we need it. Like one of the things we're going through right now is we're trying to decide about a vehicle, what we need to do. And vehicles are expensive. If you're looking for vehicles, you know that's how crazy they are. And I'm struggling right now with how is God going to meet that need without causing a financial issue for us as a family. And so I'm working through this, and I know that God is going to honor, but I have a hard time seeing that sometimes in things we're going through. And so, hopefully you understand where we're coming from, is that, yes, God will help us prosper, but it's not going to always be the way we look at it, the way we see it. But I do believe he'll provide the opportunities and the wisdom for us to do what we need to do. So what we can't do is compare ourselves to others, as I said earlier, when we are doing right. The believer's thinking has to be focused. It has to be focused on his own path and eyes fixed on Jesus. Anything else will lead to comparison and a nagging sense you are never prospering. We must also change the way we view prospering. It can't just be financial, but must encompass every area of our lives. We can prosper in more than just financial areas. So today, if you're struggling with evil, having success, do the following. Trust the Lord. All right? Trust the Lord. Stay quiet and wait expectantly for God to move in your life. And that's what we need to do. And so we need to patiently wait for the Lord, and he will help us prosper in his time and his way, because he is faithful and he is good. So tomorrow we will be in Psalms 40 through 45. Thank you for being with us today. Have a good day, and I will see you then.